Greetings, fellow nerds. Welcome to another MTGA Nerfed video where we are doing some standard 2022 Forgotten Realms standard. Today we're going to see if this deck really disappears or if it's fallen off the curve with the loss of a lot of good cards. Mono red, all that good stuff. So if you want to see more stuff like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell. You can also find me on Twitch, description down below, playing some MTG, obviously, some RPG games, occasionally some Valorant every now and then. Rough time over there, but yeah, our live stuff is pretty cool. Gotten a lot of new followers there as well, so if you want to see the chaos that happens on Twitch, be sure to check out that in the description. So anyways, looking at Monored 2022, this is going to lose a lot of stuff, right? It's going to lose all the stuff from Throne. So we're losing Torbrand, we're losing Embercleave, we're losing Robber of the Rich, and we're losing Annex, the demigod in Theros, which is a pretty solid card as well. So how good does this, is this deck even playable? Is it even worth it? And I would say it's definitely more catered towards the mid to, you have to focus on the mid game a little bit more, but there's still some nice cards here that we can work with, and some new cards from Forgotten Realms that we get to use. So let me show you what we're working with. So Hellhound has always been a solid 1-drop. I was thinking about this versus the Goblin, and I decided because we're not using equipments that the Hellhound is good for a 1-drop. Although if we draw him late game, it's not the greatest, but I think for the aggression play, Hellhound is the right choice. We got 3 Frostbites and 4 Shocks for the removal. Shock is, I personally like Shock because sometimes this deck just needs a little bit of oomph to the face. We got Dragonkin Berserker here, great with the first strike. We are actually playing some dragons here, so it is potential that we could make the boast cost cheaper. 3 Dragon's Fire, and again, we are playing some dragons here. 4 Kargan Intimidators, which is pretty solid. I've loved Kargan Intimidator in a mono red deck. I think he's always been a solid card. Maybe looked a little bit strange, but now that Bone Crusher Giant is rotating, maybe he sees a little bit more play. I'm trying out Rolling Vortex. You know, there are some life gain decks out there, and this also puts the pressure on the opponent, usually because we're hitting first and you know, we're applying pressure that way. Arnie of Broken Bow, I think it's pretty solid as well, because we do have some big hitters. Relic Robber, just to, again, another form of pressure here. Good, decent 3-drop. I was thinking about not playing him, but I just realized, you know, he just provides a form of pressure that's really nice. Retriever Phoenix from Strixhaven. So Flying Haste, a little expensive for 2 mana, but you also get to learn, which is pretty nice. So I think that's pretty solid, and it's not a legendary, so you can kind of cast a lot from you can cast them if you have a lot of mana. Pulseman Dragon, no surprise here, Flying Haste. In front of the Star Mounts, another Flying Haste. Interesting, a lot of haste. That is definitely also going to be a deck to look out for. I'm going to make it like a Gruul Haste deck, see how that goes. But yeah, for the Star Mounts, new card that we got, pretty solid, and it's a mana sink too if we ever have that much mana for whatever reason. Shadowskull Smashing for land, 4 Den of the Bugbears, one of the pretty solid land that we got. I still think the green one's probably the best one, Lair of the Hydra, because you could be a little bit more flexible with it, but Den of the Bugbear is great as well. Then we got 16 Snow-Covered Mountains, and yeah, I would say this deck is, you know, it's definitely, it needed the nerf hammer, let me put it that way, because Embercleave was just, usually when the opponent cast it, it was either game over at that moment, or you probably lost the game in the next turn or two. And that just, you know, against mono red, it's like you want a chance. And I feel like this is a deck that seems a little bit more fair with the loss of Embercleave. So we're going first here. I have faith in our ability to draw lands. Either way, I mean, this hand is decent enough for me to want to play. Ooh, mono green. Okay, so another, this was a deck that I did say was going to pop off. So if you're thinking about building mono green in person, now is the time to pick up the cards. Like Old Girl Troll is like 50 cents a piece right now, which is incredible, I think. So yeah, just a thought. It's definitely a thought. Looks like the opponent wants to cast something for 2 mana. Okay, sure. Our ability to draw lands was a little non-existent. Well, you keep a risky hand, you pay the consequences sometimes, you know? It's not always there for you. Sometimes it's just not there for you. And that might be the reason alone that we could lose this game. The opponent is ramping. They're playing lands on a consistent basis. Sometimes you just roll the dice and it's what you get. You just pay the consequences, you know? They're probably going to do the search for a basic land, gain 2 life. Oh, actually, they want to be even more aggressive. Very interesting play from our opponent. There is our 3rd land. A little late. I would have loved to have gotten a Relic Robber at least going in for 1, but, you know, that's okay with me. Very interesting. I'm actually going to cast Roiling Vortex. See how that works here. Yeah, and it's a form of pressure. It's a nice form of pressure, so see how it goes. Okay, lots of things are coming at our face. But, we do control 3 or more spell permanents, so actually this is pretty nice here because, it also slows down their mana a little bit, so that's pretty nice. Felt like that was a pretty nice play in general. I'm gonna take a beating here, but we should be okay for the most part. Wolfspan Dragon. Alright, so unfortunately this was a hand. It didn't quite favor us. Just because we were a little slow on the mana, but that is okay nonetheless. I never thought I would see Expanded Anatomy do some work, but he gets to also put it on the Gnarled Professor and gets to swing in. So again, we were about 3 lands behind, which would have been perfect. We could have been getting in for a Relic Robber, doing extra damage there. I think we would have been able to play a Goldspan Dragon as well, but we kept the risky hand. That is that is going to cut the cake, so it will. So again, but honestly, I feel like this is a good thing, being a mono green player myself, and losing to mono red in like 3 to 4 turns. It got the nerf it very much needed. I'm sure control players are also a little bit happy about that, being able to hopefully play the game as well. But yeah, let's see if we can. Oh, I like this hand. It's very expensive, but generally speaking, we can still provide some aggression, and then kind of get a lot of good things going here. So still counts as a land with these things. So we've guaranteed our 4 drops, which is super nice here. I do realize that Den of the Bugbear is going to come in tapped, but we're probably not going to draw anything particularly useful anyway, so as I suspected. And this is where Hellhound stops being useful, unfortunately. The Werewolf Pack. So this is our second mono green. Yeah, mono green is the deck to look out for. That's 100% the case. Ranger class is also here. Woo-wee! We got a lot of great stuff coming in. Yep, here we go. Taking some damage. Here's Arnie, who could be useful. I'm actually going to burn this guy here. Burn this guy. Pass the turn. So Hellhound might be a jump blocker at this point in time. Especially with the Ranger class, if he decides to go up a level. Our attacks, their attacks are great, and our blocks, not so much. The opponent does so. 100% the right play. I feel like I'm just supporting the opponent here because I'm like, yeah, mono green, go for it. But it's totally okay. All right, yeah, Hellhound has done his job. Ah, that would have been great, but not meant to be. Okay. So we might take a little bit of a beating here, but that'll be alright. feel like that's a battle mammoth. Is that what I'm suspecting here? Foretell in green. I feel like that's battle mammoth. No. Oh, interesting. Okay, Master Synergist. That's an interesting card. Oh, it actually blocks the whatchamacallit? The Goldspan Dragon. That's actually pretty nice here. Maybe that's something that might be a sideboard card for me more than anything. I actually really like that. Let's see what I can do here. Yeah. Decides to get rid of the Goldspan. Makes sense. Okay, so I'm hoping the opponent's not attacking with the Jasper Sentinels. There is the Battle Mammoth. I did say that was the card. Why are you not attacking with the Jasper Sentinels? I guess they are chump block. So opponent's actually doing a pretty good job of managing our board here. In a way, I would, if they didn't have the Jasper Sentinels, we could win the game. Maybe they attack here for the draw card. Oh, perfect. What they fail to realize is that I also have another Flying Haster in the air. And I do draw a land. This is why I picked up Master Expeditions. Master Expeditions. I believe that will do it. Woo! Tapping down the Jasper Sentinels was pretty huge there. That was a decision I needed him to do. Otherwise, we would have lost that game. He had no reason to think we had another Flying Haster. Although maybe he should have, given that the amount of Flying Hasters that exist now in Mono Red. So, whew. So we're 1-1 against Mono Green. Although our first battle, that was maybe a hand worth mulligan. I don't know if I would have. I don't think I ever would have mulliganed that in paper 2. Solely because it's like the moment I draw land, my hand becomes a lot more playable. But maybe that's just too much of a risk to ask for these days in Arena. So let's try to keep the train rolling. And once again, a similar situation, but I'm going to keep this solely because it has shock as well, so it's a little bit of removal involved, which is nice. I would probably... Yeah, I wouldn't play more than 2 of the Retriever Phoenix because they're just so expensive, but... So the Hellhound came in after our turn 1 play, so that's a draw that's pretty much pointless. It's not going to really help us out here. So yeah, I do play 4, but maybe you don't even need the 1-drop for this deck, or I don't know. Morningstar. Okay, I actually really like that play. Wonder if we'll draw a land. We do not draw a land once again. Okay, so maybe this game is saying if you keep a 2-land hand, you're not gonna draw a 3rd. I don't really know. Because I would have shocked and then played the Dragonkin Berserker. That would have been my play, as opposed to the Hellhound, where it's pretty much useless since I'm not drawing lands here. So maybe that's something to consider in your future as well, if you feel that, hey, I keep a 2-land hand and I never find a 3rd. Maybe that is just a common thing. I feel like the Hellhound here is pretty much useless since I don't think I draw a land here. So don't ask me how I know these things. It's... I think I'm starting to see a pattern with Arena. There might be a certain pattern that just may exist that we're just no one's aware of until now. Maybe I'm finding the secret sauce. Yeah, I feel like this is common too. It's happened to me in draft a couple of times. So I don't know. Maybe I have to play arena and in person differently, which is weird because it's supposed to bring the tabletop experience to the digital format. But maybe that's not quite the case. Oh, and they play a... Wow, what a card. Oh, oh, opponent's getting everything they need to just hammer us down. Gotta love seeing it. All right, and we draw another Dragon Fire. Alrighty. Oh. Well, not what I expected. I would have assumed he would have just taken the damage, but... Alright, so, this game is... Oh, because he has another one! Okay, so basically this game is saying, hey, if you're keeping a 2-land hand, don't do it. You just don't draw into your third. So, for the next game, what I'm going to do is if I see a 2-land hand, even if there's stuff playable, I'm just going to go ahead and mulligan it because it looks like the game is kind of saying 2-land hands, don't keep it. It's just a bad idea. Very interesting. That's not something I would have assumed that the game has, but it does seem to be the case. Because it's happened to me twice now, and I think that's a little suspicious. So this is a 3-land hand, so this is very keepable. And it does have all my 1 and 2 drops. Okay, sure, that'll work. I'm okay with that. I think I would have liked a 3-drop in here as well, but maybe from now on I'm not really sure what to quite make of this hand, but we'll see what it can do. We'll see what kind of pressure this deck can provide. I do like the art of the new Evolving Wilds. Very cool. I like the dungeon thing as well. Looks like our opponent is... Oh, they're playing Is It. Very interesting. Alrighty. They foretell here. Okay, they do good. Okay. So... I'm going to play another Hellhound because I can guarantee both of them getting the triggers. So it's just a nice form of pressure. Opponent is playing Expressive Iteration. So I think what I'm going to do is actually play the Rolling Vortex. And the reason for that is they don't have a counterspell up now. And the Rolling Vortex is technically a card that will always provide some form of pressure. I know they're not playing Life Gain, but this is just a nice way of putting some kind of clock on the opponent. I might have been a little too hasty. And, oh, why was that only 1 minute? Oh, because he foretold it. Oh, nice play from the opponent. Frostbite. Dual strike on the Frostbite. Which is fine because we actually don't have any more mana anyway. Or land anyway. For the Hellhound. So I feel like that was actually really nice here. So because Arnie has haste, I'm just gonna kind of play everything out here. Again, Rolling Vortex is putting a clock. It's a very slow clock, but the more damage I get in there, the clock speeds up. So I feel that we're doing okay so far against Is It spells, one of the top tier decks. Oh, another one incoming. Okay. Looks like they have another Frostbite incoming, which is fine actually because... Okay. Alright. They have 3 extra mana. They don't get to do anything with it. Ooh, Relic Robber is a really good draw here. Because now he's going to get 2 damage per upkeep. So we've doubled the speed of the clock. We have another haster in hand. And even drawing a land is not terrible either, because we can then activate Den of the Bugbear. So, yeah, this is a solid, kind of situation we got going on. I really like what I'm seeing. Alright. Oh, double Expressive Iteration? That's pretty cool. Alright. They got all the dual strikes in the world. So, let's see what we can do here. Yep, definitely want to play a land. I get to do it again. This is actually kind of insane. This is cool. I like what I'm seeing. Okay. Goldspan Dragon. Alright. They're playing Millcraft. Very interesting. Well, they're dead on upkeep. I guess they just accepted it. They seem to have gotten a little flooded, is what it looks like. So let's get in for one more game here. I feel like our games have been very interesting. The only matches I feel like we've actually played against is Mono Green. And interestingly enough, both of our games where we kept 2 lands and didn't draw into lands in time ended up being a loss. I mean, no surprise there, but those games do exist. I just don't like mulliganing because I just feel like you're already behind. And it's, well, I would mulligan this in a heartbeat. We've got all our mid to late game drops with 2 drops that don't really provide too much. Dragonfire does provide 4 damage, but I don't think that's going to get us... I don't think that's going to help us in any shape or form. So let's go ahead and mulligan this hand for sure. And it was a 2-lane hand, so I would have mulliganed that even if it was a little bit more playable, just because, I don't know, maybe there's a certain pattern going on here. It's interesting because I know Arena gives you the best of both hands, and I'm like, I would love to see what the first hand was, just to see if I would have kept the first hand over. We're going to send our 6-drop back to the bottom, which is unfortunate because we only have one other one, so that is a little rough. And we draw. Okay, cool. So we've got the mana to basically play out our deck, which is really nice here. Or maybe one more mana for the Goldspan Dragon, but what I do like what I'm seeing for the most part. Lotus Cobra is here. I'm gonna get rid of that right away because that does land. Lotus Cobra is being played now. Nice. Okay, so we have the mana to play pretty much our entire deck here. I don't think we'll draw another Inferno because we have a very low chance of drawing it, knowing that we've sent one to the bottom. So, we'll see what we can get here. Okay. So we've continued to draw lands. This is like the polar opposite of the last game. Okay, so our opponent decides to just lose everything. It's probably a smart play, knowing that, you know, opponent, they might be onto us that, you know, we don't have much going for us after this play. We do draw a shock. Okay. That is not a land, most importantly. So maybe we'll top deck a good old Goldspan Dragon, right? That's kind of what we're looking for. I would even take a Phoenix at this point. An Arnie would be fine. Yeah, I'll take the 1 damage, no problem. Okay, so we've continued to draw lands. So, yeah, so this is definitely the polar opposite of our 2-land games. So, we've drawn 7 out of our 21 lands. We'll go ahead and scoop here. I know what you're going to say. Shuffler broken? No. Everything's randomized. There's just, sometimes this happens. It happens to the opponents as well. It just feels a lot more, painful when it happens to you. So we're going to get in for one more game here because, well, I wouldn't consider that last one to be a game, right? Because, well, we didn't really get to play much. we played lands. So let's get in for a real game here. This will be our final game if we get a game out of this. Yeah, I love this hand. This is the mono red hand that we're looking for. A turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 play. I don't think we're going first, but that's okay. That's very common here. I've actually taken like a recent like, oh, we are going first. But I did do a recent like just check. I started making notes and stuff, and I found out I go about second, about a little higher than 60% of the time, which is interesting. I think that's a little high, because it should be about 50-50, but it's a nice challenge to put on yourself. It prepares you for a lot of formats to go second, because you can't expect to go first all the time. That just wouldn't be fair. So, would I trade with the 2-1? That is a tough thing to say. I probably would, because that creates 1/1s. So yeah, I think that's acceptable. What you do get to do though is put the pressure on the opponent. You probably trade with the I'm totally okay with this play personally. Now they're not creating 2/1s that make 1/1s, and that's kind of the bane of our deck, if I'm frankly honest. We could lose to that. And our opponent is mana screwed. That actually makes the position like this. You know what? I am going to get rid of this because I can't respond to the cast. The third land is maybe exactly what they need to play out their deck. So we're gonna search for a land, and I'm gonna attack here. I'm okay with these trades because generally speaking, I come out ahead. And even if I draw, so either way, we kind of get what we want here. Ooh, that again, I did say the third mana might be exactly what they need. So. So I am going to Frostbite here because I do get a 4/4, which is maybe in this case it's actually better than a 2/2 flyer. But what's also nice is that so they might have suspected we have a Goldspan Dragon. So again, this is a perfect example of saying, like, you know, you feel it a lot more than when you get mana screwed or mana flooded versus when the opponent does. Because the opponent definitely got a little screwed there. They probably just need to play the third mana, like we did in a lot of our games, to kind of get the deck going, and we just kind of pummeled them with Monored. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Hope you found it to be helpful in some way if you're looking to build Monored in a best of 1. I think the deck is a lot better in a best of 3 because you have so much aggression to play in your game 1 play. But yeah, I hope that you found this to be helpful. Again, we played a lot of mono green today. If you are looking to build a mono green deck, now is the time to buy the cards. They're ridiculously cheap. They're dropping, in fact, because I don't think people realize the potential that they could have, or that what the potential is, because we just haven't had a lot of tournaments in person recently. So that's just my suggestion. But yeah, hope you guys drop on for the next video. Again, follow me here on YouTube and on Twitch. Subscribe, like this video, notification bell, all that good stuff. Follow me on Twitch. So anyways, right now up top, YouTube is showing a video of my most recent upload. Right below that is a video that YouTube thinks to use specific likes. So go ahead, check those videos out, explore the channel, really helps me out. And thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you for the next Nerd Film.